There's one company, Andy, that we trust to put our own merch out there into the world and who we firmly believe is coming on top this football season. That's elitesports.com. They support athletes directly. They make custom stuff for us and for them. So how could we not be on board?
We got friends who have bought the crew necks. I always wear my Elite Sports Squaring Around hat. Got to support the brand. Use code SQUARE at checkout for a 10% discount. Not too shabby. EliteSports.com. They support the athletes and they support us, so go support them.
Thanks for squaring.
Jacob, home field has so much new stuff, especially for March and March Madness. They came in with new jerseys, like new retro jerseys, which are super, super cool. They always have the best stuff. I bought a home field shirt a couple years ago, and it still looks brand spanking new, and I got more home field stuff on the way. I absolutely cannot get enough of home field apparel.
If you're a NASCAR fan, actually, they have some throwback gear on their site too right now. So tap in, home field. If you want to support the show, use code SQUARE at checkout. You get 15% off if you're a first-time orderer, or you get 10% off if this is your, if you're just a home field addict. That's code SQUARE at checkout. Normally on this show, I never get on here and I'm braggadocious at all or pitching to anything I'm up to or really like anything self-serving. This is all my life's work and my life's journey and stuff like that.
That's all you have.
But joining us now on the podcast is one of my best friends since literally I was like 16, right, buddy? Anwar Duran, who is now a big-time band promoter who's got a great gig to pitch in the San Antonio area for our lovely viewers.
This is what we're doing?
What do you got, buddy?
Yeah. Hey, thank you. First of all, I just want to say, long-time viewer, first-time caller, big fan of y'all's work.
You called me a pedophile to start this. What do you mean, big fan of the work?
Whoa. That's just me,
Yeah, this is business, Zimmel.
Yeah. Please, let's focus for a second here. Yeah, I just want to come in here and let everybody know, all y'all's viewers, that we'll be having a show for the band called Wave Files on June 28th at 9 p.m. in San Antonio, Texas, in this little coffee shop / bar called Tandem. Address is 310 Riverside Drive, San Antonio, Texas. If y'all can make it, it's on a Friday night, 9 p.m., plenty of time for you to get home after work, do what you got to do, and then go over there, have a rocking time. This is a rock band. They're straight from the 956. So if any of y'all's viewers are from the Valley, come support, your local Valley people. It'll be next Friday again, June 28th. Looking forward to seeing all y'all there.
And if you're like, well, what the hell? This guy from San Antonio is asking us to party over there. What motive does he have? Don't worry. He went to St. Mary. So he's a neutral party in all of this Texas State UTSA
I got no
affair.
beef with y'all at all.
Actually, he partied several times in San Marcos.
I've been to the Square many times myself.
Been to the Square many times. We recreated
Square
the Red Dead
veteran.
Redemption Where's Lenny scene.
Hey, one last drink.
Yeah, just one more.
Exactly. Oh. That's great, partner. Lenny, where are you?
Well, why did you never marry?
Don't have me. That's the thing, you see, because it... Lenny?
Did you say?
What?
I said, what did you say?
Get lost, buddy.
Shut up, mister. Yeah, shut your mouth, mister.
Lenny!
For my 21st birthday. So it's so fun
Thank
getting
you.
to talk to you, Anwar. Usually I just
Likewise.
talk to you and talk shit, but this is pretty much business. You're a promoter now.
Yeah.
For my
we're
friend's
here
band, I've
to
been
be
friends with the lead
serious.
guitarist of this band since I was in kindergarten. My boy Gil. So yeah.
They're an amazing band. It'll be a great show. Definitely
Shout out-
a good time.
Shout out the Wave Files. And one time I tortured Zimmel for 4 hours straight when the Wave Files first like single came out on Spotify, Helios. I played it for 4 hours straight on our way from San Marcos to Dallas and then back again.
The beauty is now they have a whole album, so you don't have to re-listen to the same song over and over again.
Exactly.
You can listen to, I want to say like 12 songs back to back. All great, by the way.
Front to back. No skips.
Yeah, I never thought what we were doing in Gitmo was wrong until Jacob maybe listened to the same song for 4 hours straight. And then I was like, maybe our foreign relations do have some issues. The Don King of 956 Rock Band Promoters. I'm here for it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squarin' Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squarin' Around. I'm Jacob Rodriguez. That's the Texas State Sports Press, Andrew Zimmel. This week, last week we kind of went down like memory lane with the team. Some of you liked that, some of you didn't. We're gonna address some of those fucking comments soon. But it got me kind of thinking, and a lot of other people thinking too, because now some of these former players are kind of walking down memory lane. I don't know if you've seen this, Zim, but I retweeted Brady on Squaring Around.
Oh, come on.
Because
you don't think I saw Brady McBride's tweet talking about food?
Because
those are my two favorite things.
Our boy Lincoln Perry tweeted like elite eats eyeball emoji at Texas State football, and then it looks like an omelet bar like at the team facility. Mm-hmm. And so Brady retweets this, and if there's one thing that Brady does better than football, the fucking internet. Apparently, he got 25,000, views on this fucking tweet. He says, "This is jaw-dropping. This has to be the biggest depiction of how far the program has come in the last year. Mind blown emoji."
Bigger depiction. An omelet bar, winning a bowl game. Which one matters more, or which one shows more growth?
And you know what? Like, I guess it's the omelet bar, if you're being honest. Anybody can win a bowl game, right? You just have to win 6 games, and then you get invited, and you get lucky. A couple balls bounce your way. But how many of you can have a standing omelet bar? I'll be honest. As a student journalist / douchebag drinker, sports talker, or whatever I was in college,
gas bag,
exactly. When the football players would complain about their student experience being like nil compared to other schools, I was like, "Shut up, dude! You're D1. Like, what problems do you have? You get paid to go to school and work out with your boys." Pretty good deal, I think. Like, all things considered. But now I do, I guess, feel a little sad for some of them, because it's like, oh damn, you tell me, what did you have? Eggo waffles, or what was your setup?
The Commons. Yeah, that was it. This is the all you can eat food at the student places. I understand where they're coming from with that. I get like nutrition probably is kind of important, but then you have to also remember that before Spavital, Withers was buying the team Powerade. He had to, like, out of his own pocket buy the team Powerade. So if you start at like that level, like 2014 to now, 10 years of growth, this is huge. Before, the coach was buying Powerade for the team, and now they have an omelet bar.
And allegedly or not allegedly, we couldn't pay, or we weren't getting paid for the sponsorship deals or something like that. Didn't we put that rumor to rest, though? Like, we figured out, or somebody told us, I think, either on this show or off the record, that
the way that I remember this going, like, being put to bed, was it was like we were getting paid, but it wasn't a lot. Like, we weren't getting paid what other schools at the Group of 5 level were getting paid from their sponsorship, which all things being equal, that's a salesperson problem. That's not
exactly.
really like, you can't really like, you can be mad at Tice, but like you really can't. Like that's somebody higher up that's signing those deals.
To be honest, like I guess like the powers that be, like the rich guys that actually like run things like around Texas State, like we're just cool with like the same way that like rich guys were like cool with like owning like a really shitty racehorse, like
That's a really good take.
because
I
like
think you fell
we
ass
had a
backwards into a
football
really good
team, we
take.
had facilities, we had all these things, but they kind of sucked.
So would you comp being a Texas State donor circa 2015 to being like Tony Soprano with a shitty horse?
That's a beautiful horse.
It's gonna be a bottle of LePage. You don't win this race.
Wibbly, you want a sure thing? Buy buns.
Well, the thing about it was Tony Soprano's horse wasn't shitty. You won several races, or they won several races. What was it? Damn Tony Soprano horse.
So this is where I'm going with this too, though. That's a really interesting take because I would always assume that like if I was somebody who's paying money to my school, like at the hundreds of or tens of $1,000 level, that's not even go hundred. Let's say tens of $1,000, giving back to the athletic program. My thought would be I would want to see like progress. I'd want to see like success. I don't want to just keep throwing bad money after bad money. You know, why are we doing it?
For $1 million, Zim, what was the name of Tony Soprano's horse in the show?
Lucky.
Pie Oh My.
No, God damn it, no! I got 5 G's on it.
He's going to make it. Here we go. Come on, baby. Come on, girl.
Zucker's mother, Miss Ray Ray, Vision Be Mine, and Pie Oh My joins the front runners.
She's coming around. Jesus, look at her go.
Make Pie Oh My and Zucker's mother as we head for home. Pie Oh My pulling ahead. Pie Oh My with speed to burn, and then Pie Oh My. Pie Oh My coming from behind to win it. Pie Oh My hits the wire first.
I'm rich. 5 grand and an ace to 1.
Heading to the winner's circle is Pie Oh My, owned by
I know. Never mind. I'm gonna cut that part. I don't want to ruin the series if you guys.
It's been out for 20 years. If you haven't seen The Sopranos yet, I hate to break some news to you here.
I get into it all the time. My brother's like, Breaking Bad is so much better of a show than fucking The Sopranos. And I'm like, I'll give it to you that Bill Burr is in it, and he's my favorite comedian of all time, and I lose my mind when he shows up in the show. But to say that it's better than The Sopranos, there's some shows that still can't touch The Sopranos.
Here's the thing. You have to be reverent to something. Otherwise, you're irreverent to everything, right?
Exactly.
If you are
I'm with you on this.
If you're acting like, oh, Breaking Bad so much. Breaking Bad doesn't exist without The Sopranos. So like, kiss the ring a little bit to that. I can understand if somebody says, I prefer Breaking Bad over The Sopranos, but to be like, one is clearly better than the other, to me, that's just wrong. That's wrong. You can't do that.
I agree.
What the fuck?
I know you said you wanted it burnt, T. But the picture moved me.
It's because you knew it cost me a fucking arm and a leg.
It's museum quality work, I admit that. But I told the guys the chance to hang a picture of you on my wall. I rescued it from the flames.
What's with the hat and shit? Huh? Don't give me, huh? You know what it does to me? To be reminded of that fucking horse?
I'm sorry, T. But you never come here no more. I didn't figure it'd be a problem.
I never come here no more because they're watching all our houses. It's no good for us to visit.
I know.
So going back to what the hell we were talking about before, right? Like going back and looking at like different like remembrances of what the team was before last year, which is still kind of crazy to me that like it's just like washed history at this point. Like no, like to say that like, oh, like this program's everything now. Like we got everything, we're good. It's like, whoa, wait, are you sure? Because we're not even very far removed from like our previous coaching situation and stuff like that. So this was like a thing that was trending, I guess, in the Sunbelt or at Sunbelt_sports. You know that account? So
No.
they tweeted an image, just like a still shot of Jake Spavital in Texas State gear. Said, Texas State fans, describe this picture in 3 words. And some former players, including our very own Brian London, said, if I speak ... Calvin Hill said, We was a couple plays away from big wins and bowl games. Only the real know! Exclamation point.
Yeah, I mean they're not wrong.
This is kind of like my obituary, I guess, to the Spavital era.
You're kind of late.
Yeah, but like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Because in all honesty, we did this story like 3 years ago already, obviously. But
talk about some June content here.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, it got my wheels spinning last week. Like, what was I missing from that era, or like what felt differently? I guess online, I guess it was pretty much the same people. Like we ported over the same people that we were spitting to. I mean,
look, I think the biggest difference is the vibes, right? Because like when Spavital came in, the vibes were awful with Withers. He comes in, he's a really good vibes guy, really good, like, hey, I'm going to go to the country club with you type of dude. Love that. Spavital is a good dude. The vibes around the team are still pretty bad. And now you go 2 coaches removed from Withers, or whatever, 2 coaches removed from that era, and vibes are much better. And also, the playbook is a lot better. I don't think anybody can argue that Mac Leftwich and GJ Kenny offensively are just better offensive coaches than Jake Spavital was. Like we said when he got hired, and I don't know why we're going down memory lane like this. We said when he got hired, hey, this is a really good coach that has coached multiple NFL quarterbacks. And Texas State historically don't have NFL quarterbacks. Those guys don't just grow on trees in San Marcos. So what does that mean? Well, then you go look, TJ Finley legitimately could be a semi-pro football player. Like that's a guy that I could see playing on Sundays in the spring, not in the fall, but in the spring. You tell me that guy can't play for the Birmingham Stallions or the Brahmas? Yeah, no, that guy could probably play for a UFL team.
True.
I cannot say this. I love Brady. I love Tyler Vitt. Good dudes. I cannot say the same thing for those guys. You know?
Yeah. Well, you were big on what's that guy's name? 2016 quarterback?
Tyler Jones.
Yeah, you said Tyler Jones was going to be a Sunday afternoon player before his senior year. Like his draft was like his draft projections were like amazing.
He got good grades. He was like good grades. He was like a 5th round best type of round guy. Okay. So that's like whatever. All right. He's not probably starting, but he's going on a team. And then his senior year was so bad under Withers that he's done. And I still don't know. Maybe Tyler Jones, if you listen to the podcast, if this gets to you, come on, let's talk about it. But when I reached out to him, like during that Withers era, going into Spavital, hey, you want to come on Bobcat Radio? Hey, do you want to come on the show? He's like, nah, I kind of don't want to do anything with Texas State yet. I kind of am still like a little sour, which I get. I understand.
I think, I'm sorry if I'm blowing up the spot, but Ish, I think, told me a story one time that he was like, yeah, I want to do like a story like in that era. Like that year, he was like, I want to do a story on Tyler Jones, because all I hear is that he's like a great leader. He's taken all of this in stride. He's learning how to lose and learning how to lead and all this stuff, whatever, right? And like I've heard all of these good things. I just want to put like pen to paper on this. And everybody shut that down, including Tyler Jones, and was like, I ain't going out like that.
I think that was when he was still at the Daily Record.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was still then.
So let me ask you, as somebody who's taken a bunch of L's over the past couple of years, would you say that you learned how to lose?
Yeah, I think so. When life kicks you in the ass, man, and there's nothing you can do, right? Like what's the saying? Like when it rains, it pours. Like there was a time in my life, honestly, like when I first got into news, my life fucking sucked.
Now, when you said got into news, what are you're talking like
my
college?
My first year in the industry.
Bro? Okay.
No, my first year in the industry, I went through a bunch of like family stuff that I've yet to even address at all in any capacity. So that was like 2020, and then 21. When I moved to Corpus, that was a fucking shit show. When I moved back to Corpus, that was another shit show. And then, my podcast setup has changed quite a bit. So that was another thing too. But the crazy part is when life like does shit like that and there's nothing you can do and you're just like, oh, I'm caught in like the fucking vortex. That's like the most helpless feeling in the world, and I hate it. But it also
had a worse. Let me ask you, who's had a worse 2-year stretch? Tyler Jones in
me?
2015, 2016, or you? We're talking three wins, or you?
Well, don't feel sorry for D1 football players because they get paid to go to school and work out with their boys. So yeah, at least at that level. I mean,
Do
a
you
lot
remember
of
the
these
cardboard
guys are going
cutouts
through
around
different
campus
shit.
with him?
I wrote about that in the Star actually, because this was pre NIL, pre everything. This is 2016. Jacob, big brain Jacob, as the boys would call it now. But I was like, you should pay players, and that was just like an article that ran in the Star, and like,
Wow, that was
my
such a hot take.
My thing was based on like quality benefits though, because I think like obviously like there's like health issues that come with football and playing contact sports. So like if you don't address those now, what the hell do you think is going to happen like in the future, you know?
Let me tell
Trying to
you,
avoid some Frank Harris type situations.
Tyler Jones, great guy. I don't really know him personally, football player wise. I didn't get to root for him a lot when he was winning games. So my impression of him, whatever. I hated those cardboard cutouts, brother. I hated those things because again, like I go to the game on Saturday, we get our asses kicked. Sunday morning, I'm going to Commons. I'm going to these like food halls to eat, and I'm seeing his face. I just couldn't deal with it.
So like as you walk into the dining hall, and then there's no more Cheerios or like whatever your favorite cereal is, you're like, God damn it! And then you turn the corner, Tyler Jones, the guy who like threw 4 picks in the game last night, you're like, damn it! And then they run out of waffle batter, and you're like, my day's ruined.
Well, and then the first home football game for Texas State that I was at as a student, we had beaten Houston. Houston comes to town, top 10 team in the country. I don't know why in the world I thought we would have a chance in hell. 63-3. Absolute demolishing. And the funniest part, Jakey, that's not even the worst loss that I witnessed as a Texas State student. That was a bad one. There are so many worse losses that like just cut so much deeper than that one.
What's your worst one?
UTSA.
Every UTSA loss?
Every UTSA one. The one
I think I was lucky enough to see like a lot of them in the press box. Like I know that's kind of elitist of me, but I don't think I've ever not seen that series played not in the press box, like as I've covered this team.
The one where Davenport completely tore us up just individually. Like the guy ended up with I think like 7
billion yards.
Oh, yeah. That was a terrible. No, Marcus Davenport, for future top 10 NFL pick. Absolutely tore apart the Texas State offensive line. That one was bad. Tyler Vitt, God knows what we were doing running out of the end zone. That was a tough one. Losing on a field goal, that was a tough one. So, yeah, there's been plenty of just those to me. Every one of those hurt more than Houston because Houston immediately I knew we were going to lose.
I saw that
Boston College. That's another one. To lose,
I lost $150 on that game. Yeah.
To lose to Boston College on a field goal, bro. Oh,
come on.
That would hurt.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember like the ones that hurt me the most. I don't know if I was like hurt by a lot of them, but every time we played UTSA, obviously I thought we were going to win. That never happened. Anytime we played someone big, I was like, ooh, boy, like, can we do it? Nope.
Florida State in 2015. That's another one.
I think
national TV.
The ones that like I remember very clearly were the ones like I think we played a Thursday night game in the middle of the fall, my senior year, 2020. So this would have been 2019, and I was staying late at the office at the Star, and then we ended up going drinking, and then we could still make the game because we're not crazy people. We'd go out at happy hour. These kids now, Andrew, go out at like midnight. What the hell is up with that? Get the drink specials, guys. Anyway, so we go to the game afterwards, and we're having a wonderful time in the stands. The field is not looking good. No, tough. That's what I actually remember the most is the off-field stuff and like the moments leading up to the game because the football stuff, forgettable, honestly. And I guess people want us to talk about like number radio, like, oh my God, in 2017, fucking, this is what happened on the field. And that's why we can break all these records now. That shit is boring as fuck to me, bro.
See, to me though, this is, again, I don't know. I don't think anything that Texas State did prior to GJ Kenny. Let me rephrase that. Anything from the beginning of FBS to GJ Kenny getting hired. I don't think any of that in the grand scheme, and this is going to piss off a lot of people, so buckle up.
DJ and AGJ, is that what you're saying?
I don't think any of it really matters.
Ooh.
Like, here's the thing, right? Because it's a bunch of losses, but like there was really, I guess,
bunch of no bowl game years.
I guess yeah, that sucks because like we talk about Keenan Brown, we talk about Gabe Strade, Brian London, Willie Jones III. Like there's a bunch of Brady McBride, Tyler Vitt. There's a bunch of characters in there that we like, that we rooted for. Tyler Jones, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that those guys' careers don't matter, because they
Coach
do,
Neely.
Of course. Coach Neely, right? No, hold on. Barrick Neely never did FBS.
Yeah, I'm saying he did play in the Bobcat Stadium.
But my point being that like the foundation that those like guys built, I guess it matters, but like I'm not really going back to 2015 being like, oh, we did this thing and then the butterfly effect led to this, right? Like I think most of it, if you really wanted to say like, why is Texas State successful in 2024 versus why were they non-successful in 2014, the way I would look at it, or 2016 or whatever you want to say, the way I would look at it is like, what did GJ Kenny do? What did he learn in 2014? What did he learn in 2019? What did he learn at Incarnate Word? What did, and those are the things I think that build this program versus like Texas State individual, like as a university, as a program. I don't really know how much the success of this team is based on that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I guess like you could say foundationally, like guys like Brian London, guys like Savion Patton had to come through the program and had to like make an impact and leave their fingerprints. And I think every single coach would tell you that those guys did. Maybe I'm talking myself out of it. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I just don't. If you're somebody who's coming to this podcast,
a very weighty thing to say,
Well, I just think that those guys, I think people who come to this podcast or come to a podcast or are thinking to themselves like Texas State successful in 2024 because of these guys. Yeah. I think that it's 60-40 what GJ was doing versus like what Texas State as a football program was doing. And again, this is like a half-baked take. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we cut this whole fucking section out and be like, fuck Zimmel. But like, I just don't know, Jake. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I'm definitely not willing to like erase history because I'm two D2 national title guy. That's what I bring up all the time.
So, but let me ask you this: like in a professional league, right? Did the things that the Spurs did prior to 1997, did those things fundamentally make the next 20 years the success that it was, or was it the fact that they had Tim Duncan, right? Like I think that
Cross Bank like moved the team over here and they helped everybody, and
but
like
you know what I'm saying?
Deal.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like when Redmond McCombs buys the team and keeps him in town, or when Peter Holt buys the team or whatever, right? Like, I get that part, but like, I don't think anybody would say that like the reason the Spurs had 20 years of dynasty was because of the 20 years that came before it. Right?
But isn't like the way that the Spurs operate is so like Patriot way, like.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
Isn't that like more consequential, like the actions of the
culture,
people and culture around it?
But would you say that the culture was?
But also, for the Patriots specifically, you could say like they're nothing without Robert Kraft because that was a poverty franchise before Kraft.
Well, it was a poverty franchise after he bought it too. It really didn't get to be good until like 2000. Like
when he bought the team, they were still playing at a high school stadium in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, let's call it. Well, and like I said, he owned the team for a little bit of time before they got good. I don't know. It's weird to say that. I just don't think that there's I care more about like the culture that they're building currently is a culture that hopefully is sustainable so that when my kids go to Texas State in 20, 30 years or whatever, that they can say like, okay, hey, Texas State got good in 2023 and now it's 2043 and they're still competing in whatever we call football at that point. But I don't think that I'm going to look back and say to myself, hey, we needed to have 2 coaching staffs of just bad football, not bad football players, but just bad football to like get to this point. Like, because what culture are you taking from that?
The thing about it too is that like we've seen Everett Withers, Spavital, and now GJ, right? So 3 different coaching administrations. Like they have all had different experiences in the entire college football landscape. Like to be honest, Everett Withers was like how most people like know what college football is. Like that's how things were operating still at a base level. And Jake Spavital takes over at this insanely transitional moment in the entire college football landscape. Not to mention there was a global pandemic also taking place that kind of like sandwiches his
I don't know,
too.
man.
And then, so there's like a lot of like forces that are at work as he's trying to build a program, as the AD,
this is
and
real.
The athletics department is like in flux.
This is real June, July sports talk here. So you're saying that the success of Texas State is in part because of Jake Spavital?
No, I was bringing up that point to say that like they have all had different things kind of come up in their careers and stuff. Like obviously GJ is going to have to deal with the transfer portal and NIL stuff the entire time he's a coach. If he stops doing that, we're unsuccessful at Texas State.
Clearly. Well, he's unsuccessful point blank period wherever he goes.
Anywhere,
like
yeah.
At high school was probably
which is something that Spav never had to deal with. But Spav had to deal with a pandemic and some other bullshit that happened.
Well, he had to deal. Okay, hold on. It's not like he
and then
got
Withers
the job in 20.
Only
it's not
had
like he
drug dealers. Apparently,
it's not like he got the job in 2020 and then he got fired right after. Like he had plenty of runway to do what he wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
So,
but now people specifically blame like, oh, it's because we didn't have the greatest president in the world. First of all, she did a lot of things, and also
she didn't care about football. She didn't care about athletics.
Yeah, exactly. And then, there's a lot of people that are quick to blame Larry Tice. I didn't know Larry Tice was holding a clipboard calling plays on Saturdays.
No, but if you have a manager,
I know what they mean.
If you have a manager who doesn't care about the product you're putting out, if it's a McDonald's, he doesn't care about the product you're putting out, it's going to be a bad product. It's just that,
fair.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't matter how good your line cook is.
In 2019, I wrote an article for the Star. This was still when I was a sports editor, but I think I had just been like knighted editor-in-chief. And this was as Spav was getting hired. And they still expected me to write for both news, sports, and like opinion stuff. And so I was like, will I ever go to class? Who knows? But I wrote this piece basically saying that Jake Spavital and being the head coach at Texas State is the most important, like pivotal position in all of San Marcos. Because you guys saw it, like, as this team like kind of rocket shipped last year, a lot of shit started changing in San Marcos, and like for the city, the school, and like I guess the broader university community itself. I'm talking alumni, fans, different shit like that,
Yeah, cool. No, 100%. And I don't think you'd be wrong about that. The most important person
but
in
all
any
of those
college
takes
town,
I wasted on a different coach administration. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
but they're right. I mean, you could insert any coach. You literally could say that, and because it's been said that the most important person in the state of Alabama for 15 years was Nick Saban, right? It's not the governor, it's Nick Saban. You can say the most important person in Carolina was Coach K. Wasn't the GM or wasn't the president of the Bobcats? I mean, seriously, wasn't the governor of the state, it's Coach K. So Kirby Smart right now in Georgia, I would say Kirby Smart outside of the GA.
The mayor of Athens.
Well, yeah. I'm saying it probably goes Kirby Smart in 2024. It's Kirby Smart and then the district attorney prosecuting Trump, and then the governor of the state of Georgia. Those are the 3 most important people in the state of Georgia in 2024. So you're not wrong, but you could have put anybody's name in there, and it would have been right.
All that
I guess I wanted to distill this. So my take is the way college football, the way college athletics works right now, the culture, quote unquote, that you are trying to build lives and dies with your head coach, essentially, right? Your head coach and your AD mostly. Like if you can build a good culture, that's good. You get rid of your 2 head coaches and you get rid of your AD. I don't really care. There's no real foundation that those guys built because there wasn't anything there. You talk to the coaches today across sports. They say it's a different athletic administration. So I'm coming to you, Jacob. Would you say the last 10 years of Texas State athletics led up to this point? Or would you say the last 18 months led up to this point?
I think if we were not as bad for so long, we don't have the same like Captain America effect where like suddenly we're like a super soldier and everybody's like, well, what the hell are they on now? Like, so yeah, I guess it is kind of like cause and effect for sure. But also I think it's kind of like the right things happening at the right times, like nothing good gets away, to quote John Steinbeck. I don't know. Deep cut. No.
Like I said, I don't want to take any shot. I'm not taking any shots at players. I'm not taking any shots at like.
You walked it back. I've never seen you walk a take back
I just
live
don't.
like that.
I'm talking it out, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't think it's fair to say that those guys didn't make any sort of impact, because I think that they did, and I like to think that my guys left some fingerprints across, Texas State. I'd like to think that, but I just when we talk about like the accumulation or the where we're at now, I think that it has so much more to do with the culture that was brought in and transplanted from Incarnate Word to Texas State than it is the foundation or building blocks that these other guys tried to build. I just don't know if that exists. I don't even know if those building blocks exist, is my point.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like, well, what are you using as like demarcators for success? Like, what milestones does a program have to reach specifically to be like, oh, we're on the up and up? Or like, have we already passed the up and up? Like, have we done enough things to say that we're good now?
I like to think that it takes more than just one. Like that, if you do it once, you're lucky. If you do it twice, it's a habit type of thing, right? Yeah. Like if you consistently win, all right, then we're building a good culture, which I think, look, maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse. I think that's what we're doing in San Marcos. But
we finished 3-9 some years. We were like, hey, this is fucking pretty good.
See, but that's like and we talked about this all the time on social media, that the moral victories around Texas State, just like that hurts us as a program more than it helps. Like that, I will go out on a limb now and say,
would you rather just burn the town down every year than like be like, you know what? There was a lot of things that happened. Let's take this in stride.
Texas State cannot do that because of the money that is surrounding football. You can't burn it down every single year that you have a bad year. But if you are a person who has consecutive years of 4 wins, 3 wins, 3 wins, 2 wins, you cannot go and say, hey, in week 8, when we lost by 3, that's a moral victory. Hey, when we lost by 2 scores against App State, who ends up winning the Sun Belt, that's a moral victory. Like, you can't do that. And I will say that if we lose to UTSA this year, if it's by 1 point, you're not going to hear me come on the podcast and say like, hey, this team is getting better. You see the moral victory. You're not going to hear us say that, or at least not from me. I'm not going to give you any moral victories anymore. That Texas State has put that in the past. We've buried that where it's done.
Let's talk about some of our haters now. Week to week.
45 minutes on that, but yeah.
Week to week, we get told that we're no good. We're scum of the earth. Our opinions suck. And y'all want something different. So I decided to cook up a special segment. I'm going to roll the intro now.
Squarin around. A Texas State sports podcast, the greatest podcast of all time, is proud to have brought you countless hours of sports entertainment. However, hosts Andrew Zimmel and Jacob Rodriguez know nothing. It's been proven that their fans actually know more. Quattro Corners Productions Co. proudly welcomes all of you to the Player Haters Ball.
The Player Haters Ball gives us an opportunity to hate on a diverse array of mock-ass mocks, trick-ass mocks, punk, bitches, and skip-scap skanks and scallywags.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, real hate, man, that's like an art form, man. You know, it's like you like a born hater.
Man, you ought to take that cane and beat whoever made that suit to death.
And you corny!
Next say something while I'm talking is getting shot.
I hate you, I don't even know you, and I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you. And as I sip my soda that I'm sure somebody spit in, I just would like to say to all of you, kiss my ass, you rotten.
Oh, welcome to the Player Haters Ball, baby. I thought that would be funny. Plus, we've already sort of been doing this, like as people like kind of chime in. It's a good way to keep connected to you guys, even if you hate us. The first one into the player haters ball this week. Oh wow, some of you guys are changing your names and like stuff on here and editing your comments as if I can't see that in real time. I'm just saying, I can see that in real time. So, first one up at TXST Sports Fan. Those investigative skills are top notch, Jacob. Love all the retro talk too. Great stuff. But as always, I'm going to hit you up on some facts. Jordan McLeod is the reigning Sunbelt Player of the Year. 3,647 yards passing, 43 total touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He didn't play in the American Athletic Conference, nor did he play in the state of Texas last year. So he wouldn't be listed on DCTF's end of the 2023 season rankings. He will 100% be the starter next year, and RJ the backup. The starting center is between Chase Todd and the University of Houston transfer, who was the primary. Oh, Chase Todd, the University of Houston transfer, who was the primary backup and played a decent amount last year, and Dorian Strawn. I didn't know GJ Kinney was commenting on our damn YouTube page, all this shit. Also, like, I feel like the reason I don't do like an in-depth, like, oh, this is a roster. This is exactly what we're fucking doing. Number one, I'm not a fucking coach. Like, who the hell am I to be like, this is our fucking, let me tell you about our depth chart, guys. This is what we fucking got cooking over here. And also, like, everybody's forgetting we're like a sprained ankle away from all these positions for one person not starting, you know? Like, if I week to week can't keep up with the injury list, what the hell makes you guys think you can?
No, stop it. I'm gonna defend the listeners here. I understand where they're coming from. I think that it was a mental slip on the Jordan McLeod thing. I know Jacob knows that he didn't play.
I didn't say that though. I didn't say he was going to be included on this list. I think this was like when you were talking about where do you think Jordan McLeod would land, or you don't think, or it was like between one of the quarterbacks or some bullshit like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to defend the listener here. I understand, like, whether Jacob or I said it, it's a mental lapse. We do a lot. We do a whole day and then we do this podcast. So, you know, that sometimes happens.
You know,
the depth chart stuff, I'm going to say that we will not know what that depth chart really looks like until early August at the earliest, because again, there's a whole transfer portal that still exists that could totally change the way that all this stuff looks. And you could have a sprained ankle like Jacob mentioned for sure.
Like week to week, like guys like, oh, I'm not getting enough reps. I'm running with the twos now. All right. See you later, Texas State.
Yeah. Well, and look, I don't want to give anybody a free plug here, but we just did a whole podcast with another group about what all the depth chart stuff looks like. And Jacob and I both said, hey, things change. It's honestly all very fluid.
That's good. Like, this feels like every time I buy like a new like Yeti product or a new like something very nice, you know, and I'm just kind of babying it. I feel like last year I was like, oh my God, we finally have a football team. And now I'm like trying to protect like that feeling so badly. But maybe I guess that we should be more critical on like roster stuff or something. But that was like a philosophical thing that I did like a long time ago. Like I was like, why the fuck would I cover recruits? Like, who cares about recruits? They almost don't matter until they sign. And then they almost don't even matter until like they're actually playing and getting live reps.
When we have a person who comes on campus, redshirts a year, plays the next year, makes an impact, stays and plays for a sophomore redshirt season, then I will start caring about the impact of recruits.
Yeah.
But right now, GJ Kenny has essentially told us, without really saying it, hey, transfer portal is how I'm going to build these teams. I'm going to continue to get the scraps off Power 5 teams or the best of the FCS or another conference's players, right? Jordan McLeod, right? Like best player in the Sun Belt comes to Texas State. I think that they care about recruiting high schoolers in a way that Jake Spavital did not. I think that GJ Kenny is doing relationship building with the state of Texas when it comes to high school coaches that Spavital refused to do in a lot of ways. But to, you know, like this whole situation is still too young to really know what the recruiting cycle looks like. Like with Withers, you bring a guy on campus, you know, okay, hey, this is a freshman. He's going to redshirt. His second season on campus, he's probably going to play. But with GJ, I mean, I don't really know. You don't know until you know, and it's only year 2. So, you know, maybe in year 4 we're talking recruits, but right now I don't think I care as much.
Perfect example. 3 years ago, a guy by the name of Jake Spavital recruits a guy by the name of Cannon Webb out of San Marcos High, who is like this like huge like dual sport athlete or tri-sport athlete or whatever, like multi-position dude out of San Marcos High School. So it's like this cool like little feel-good story, like
local story, yeah.
Yeah, everybody runs the shit out of it because it's like, oh my God, could we have an impact player that's a Bobcat who's been a Rattler who is, like ties to the community, blah, blah, blah. Is that guy even like doing anything? He's a redshirt junior now, 3 years later.
Where? And San Marcos at Texas State?
At Texas State, yeah. He's 180 pounds, 5'10",
Making
his
an
major's
impact.
advertising. Zero career statistics.
You see him on campus, dap him up.
Yeah. Did not play in any games freshman year. Played in 2 games, Jackson State, September 16th, and the Surf Pro First Responders Bowl. Hey, look at that. 6 snaps, played all on special teams. So, you know what? We did do a show yesterday, literally with somebody else. It's gonna come out like I think first week of July. We talked a little about this too, and we talked about some impact players. Perhaps Cannon Webb, this is your year, baby.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for you.
I'm
I'm rooting for you, Cannon.
Good luck.
Moving on. At TXST Bobcats 2013. Love the pod, y'all. But how do y'all get so much stuff wrong? Glad y'all figured out the Haydel and Spav thing out, but it felt like watching a kid struggle to work through a simple math problem.
No, it didn't. Hold on.
Coached a Cam Ward-led UIW against us in 2021, not GJ. GJ replaced Morris at UIW in 2022. Other than that,
that's true.
I enjoy y'all's stories, banter, and crazy takes. Keep it up.
That's true. That's true. I mean, forgive me for not remembering that. I should have known that. The Haydel thing. Don't put that on.
That was all me.
Do not put that on both of us.
Completely. But in my defense, the athletic department also fucked that up.
No.
I'm gonna put that on my guy Rick Poulter.
And here's the other part. Take off the hosting hat. Put on the producer hat real quick, Jake. You could have cut a lot of that.
I could have cut the hell out of that entire segment. But another thing I could have cut? You calling Brian London and Brady McBride out. But I didn't.
But you didn't. You left that in there. So
I think it's important for people to think of us as fallible sometimes.
Really interesting creative choices is all I'm going to say. Really interesting creative choices is all I'm going to say.
You know what's interesting is that since I was a little kid, like the reason I know what else I know about sports right now, I won't say I know a lot about sports according to these fucking comments, but I know a lot of
sensitive. These comments really.
I am a little sensitivo. But when I listen to sports stuff, when I was a little kid, like I would fall asleep to ESPN. I would wake up and I would know what happened on ESPN, and then I would just spouting all these facts off. I can do that same thing now at work. Like sometimes I'll fall asleep, take a little nappy, and they're having a meeting. I wake up, I know what happens in the meeting. It's fucking crazy. And that's what happened last week as I was editing the podcast. I fell asleep while editing. I woke up and I was like, fuck, I know how I'm going to edit this together. I think it came out well, but I did make some creative choices for sure.
Yeah.
Bunch of SpongeBob interlude music. Was it Mac Leftwich, I guess? I guess it was Mac Leftwich's offense, really, that like was the dagger in that, because Mac told us when he was doing our podcast that he actually almost went to Pullman with Coach Morris when he got that head coaching gig. So
I'm really glad he didn't. I'm really glad he's in San Marcos.
Me too. Mac's amazing.
Of all the coaches, I thought he would be the one that would leave.
Me too. And so did a lot of other fucking college football writers close to the vest to us. So if you want to be on the next Player Haters Ball, leave a mean comment or a sweet comment. You could do that too. Last thing I want to talk about, if you guys follow us on Twitter at Squarin Pod, you'll notice we're working. I guess we have another partner, the third leg of this podcast, our boy Morgan Davidson, who's a PhD student at Tech. And he hit me up, or hit Squarin Pod up, not me. Surprise. I run the account along with Zimmel. Not our intern and not a paid marketing person. I know our marketing stuff is great. Thank you all for noticing. But anyway, Morgan's a PhD student at Texas Tech, poli-sci stuff. And we ran like a few like polls, like when the Jaden Delora stuff was going on. We got F ton of freaking clicks and interaction on those. Good move, right? But I mentioned how they were kind of like unscientific, and that's because like the sample size is obviously skewed. The questions were kind of iffy. And then the answer results were kind of too. So that got me thinking, like, from a news perspective, like how can polls be better and stuff like that. But Morgan hit me up and was like, hey, I can help make polls better. And I was like, all right, cool. So he drafted a bunch of these questions, and we're going to start pumping them out every week. We'll just kind of have another thing to talk about. This week's question is, do you believe hashtag NIL opportunities make the Sun Belt Conference more or less competitive? So we're going to leave this up for a week. You got 4 days left to vote on it, to make your voice hashtag heard. Yeah, shout out Morgan Davidson for helping us all out. The options are more competitive, somewhat more competitive, somewhat less competitive, and much less competitive. Somewhat more competitive, by the way, has 40% of the vote right now. So, kind of not huge.
Hashtag
impactful.
cool.
Hashtag cool. Yeah. But that was just like another thing I thought we could do to kind of keep gauging stuff. And we'll collect all of these. And at some point, I think Morgan is even going to use part of this for just like examples of like work he's helped do. So glad to help you out in any way. He was a Bobcat too, so he's obviously super invested and a member of the hashtag Quattro Corners Cartel.
Run that one back.
What?
I like how he's doing us a favor, and you said, "Yeah, no problem." Acting like we're doing him a favor.
Yeah, as if we're doing him a favor. No, not really.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, I love how you were able to like jujitsu that. Right? Call back.
There you
into
go.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. No, shout out Morgan. He's been awesome to work with. I message him all the time. He's such a sweet guy. All of the people, even the haters. Shout out the haters for hitting us up. Because some of those messages ended nicely too. So thanks for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it.
How down? Let me get a second. So I can wave high to the haters, high to the haters. I hop up in that 6, vroom, see you later.
We're trying to keep going our shit.
Find Jacob's IP address, dox him. That's the.
It's gonna be really easy to start doing that shit when I start streaming CFB shit.
Yeah, that's do that. Dox him.
And you all will find out how fucking much I don't know
him.
at all.
Swat him.
Last week also we sent out our first newsletter. I thought it was very fun. So, and then we gained like 10 followers overnight too. So shout out. I was waiting until we had 10 people on the list. And I think when I sent it out last week, we had like 17. Pretty good. And then I think we gained like whatever makes 10 more. So now we're at like 27.
Get with the Alumni Association and be like, hey, send me like, I don't know, 40, 50 of those email addresses. Sign those people up.
No. Pretty cool.
No.
So if you want to tap in, that's all on our links on Twitter or X. Elon Musk is changing shit again, so watch out. Keep your on your toes, everybody.
Is he? Is he changing it again?
He's trying to change the logo back to that blue with like now the X. It's a whole fucking thing. I've given up on running our Facebook though, so this is what we got, and I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers before the football season. So tell a friend to tell a friend.
I'll tell you, I did not realize Facebook was such a big like thing until I put a video up on OAI's. And it was like within one day, 1,500 views. I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy.
That's where I get all my news, like from police departments, school districts, and different groups and stuff like that. That's where the news becomes a news before I get a hold of it.
Shout out Zuck.
Shout out Zuck.
Also, all right, so we're wrapping the pod.
Yeah, what you got?
All right, so yesterday we did the G5 Hive deal, and I slept on it, and I have a statement. I don't know how you get my last name wrong.
Zymel.
I don't. Zymel. I don't know how you get that last name wrong.
I don't know how you mess up my name too, because if you notice on the graphic, it says Jakob Ryrod. That's my handle. That's fine.
I get it.
But like, you can click on my fucking Twitter profile or just Google me. Like, I'm kind of a big deal journalist now.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Back to my thing. It's Zimmel with a Z. Jimmy Kimmel's on network TV with a Zimmel. K. Same spelling.
Also, we do a podcast where we say it every fucking week.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't know, man. I slept on it last night. You only, as a man, well, as a person, but as a man, you only get one thing, and it's your name, right?
Well, this is slightly triggering for both you and me because you and I, from time to time, have to say other people's names for the record, like on this show and then in our real jobs. For example, today there was a reporter with a very funky name. And I had to listen to her do like her sig out over and over again so I could tell other people how to say it, So it is like, wait, what the hell?
Yeah. I got in trouble one time. It was I was somebody for Fiesta and they had a last name. And for whatever reason, I was like, you guys scheduled this person. How do you not know how to say their name? And then I had to ask like twice on the phone, hey, how do you say it? Da-da-da-da. Like da-da-da? No, like da-da-da. And I had to go and tell them.
I write out pronunciators now. Now I can. I speak phonetically.
Here's the thing. Those pronunciators only work if somebody knows how to read pronunciators.
Yeah, if you tell them how to read it.
Yeah.
Because everybody writes them differently.
Yes. Yes. So let me ask you, are your hosts, like, when they read off a teleprompter, is it like Anchorman?
Well, that's going to do it for all of us here at Channel 4 News. You stay classy, San Diego. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
Yes. Dude, oh my fucking God. One of my anchors hit me. I'm not even going to say who. I guess you could do the math. But one of my anchors was like, hey, man, this doesn't make sense. And so he read the line to me, and then he read the next line. And it was obviously just like two of the same lines. Like at some point in the copy, I fucked up and I copied the same line twice. But he read both lines and then told me it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
The thing I say when that happens is, did you read it before the show or did you read it during the show? And they're always like, during the show. During the show is when I read it. As I read it for the first time. Wait, hang on. There was like a pronunciator that happened today. Oh, look, check this out. So the first name storm, right? But we're dealing with a storm system, right?
Yeah, tropical storm, Alberta.
South Central Texas region or whatever. Specifically, South Texas is expected to get like 10 inches of rain over the next 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
San Antonio is going to get like 3, whatever. The first name storm is going to be Alberto. My former boss in Corpus Christi sent out a pronunciator for Alberto. How would you do that? How would you separate those lines phonetically?
Alberto?
Yeah.
Okay, I would go Al, Bert, B-E-R-T, Toe, T-O-E.
Yeah,
Alberto.
I would probably do something similar too. This is what he sent out. A-L space E-A-I-R space T-O-E. Alberto. So that's 3 different producers now that have done that differently phonetically.
That's weird. All right. Albert, because I'm Anglo, so I'm gonna Alberto, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you have a little bit more of the Latinx flair. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're gonna put a little bit more on it.
A huge one was Uvalde, because people up here say Uvalde, people down there say Uvalde. You know
who says that
in Corpus?
Oh, got you. Look, I also am doing other shit. I'm not the person who's just like, hey, I'm trying to get some tickets for my fat Mexican friends here, bro. Like, I'm not trying to.
Okay, bro. The pot calling the kettle black, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm just saying, shoot him a text or be like, hey, you up? You got any regional Mexican tickets?
I'll ask him.
Takes 2 seconds.
You know what? I'm gonna get on Teams right now. I'll get on Teams right now.
On Teams? Wow.
Yeah. I'll message on Teams. I have a laundry list of good opening lines, solid icebreakers, incredible small talk. It doesn't feel like that would be my go-to. So
I'm gonna have to stop you there, bro.
I don't know.
When I met you, you were very awkward. There was no opening line. Your hand was clammy when I shook it, and you were just.
Oh, that's not true. This is how I know y'all are lying. But this is how I know y'all are lying because this is how I know y'all are lying because there's never been outside of you right now. Nobody's ever said that because I am an incredibly confident person. Now I'm an incredibly confident person, incredible personal.
You're overcompensating right now.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think I am.
You know who you would like?
Hostile.
Our buddy Brendan Snow. Because when Brendan's in town, Zimmel can't get a word in edgewise without Brendan coming off the top rope and hitting him with something.
And this is some shit that Jacob. If we're really going here, this is some shit that Jacob fucking hates because Jacob can't get underneath my skin like this.
I can't.
Brendan and I lived together for 2 years. That motherfucker knows how to push the everything right buttons. Oh my God,
it's like
that guy.
If Brendan was Batman, you know that scene where he's training in Taiwan and then China got mad at us for including that scene in the major motion picture?
Yeah.
But he's like, he knows all the fucking moves. That's Brendan.
Dude, I sent him a tweet of a fucking Celtics cake. He's a Mavericks fan. It was his birthday. Celtics just won the title. I said, happy birthday. Here's a cake, right? That motherfucker came back and hit me exactly where he knew it would hurt. He was like, well, I have a fantasy championship over him. Knew exactly fucking what to say to get underneath my skin.
You gotta tell me next time
back.
he's in town. So I can
Couldn't
meet
say
this
anything
guy.
back. You know what? You and him, you got a little bit of the same thing. You got a little bit of the same vibe. The neck beard thing. You know how to fucking get underneath my skin. You got a lot of the same fucking moves here. I can see it.
This dude broke this dude fucking broke his femur playing pickup basketball.
Yeah, and you broke your wrist walking a dog, so it feels like it's
All right,
kind of
but
like
it was a complicated situation.
Never in my life have I ever broken a bone before, so like this is the first time.
You better fucking knock on some wood.
I am. This desk is made out of wood, so
that's how it starts. Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
All right, I'll catch y'all later, man.
All right.
Y'all have a good time recording. Bye.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.